Welcome to Spa Marketing Made Easy, a podcast for spa owners who want to step up their leadership and business skills and step into the role as spa CEO. I'm your host, Daniela Warner, CEO of Addo Aesthetics and founder of the Growth Factor Framework program, where we teach, coach, and guide spa owners in scaling their spas to the next level of growth and unlocking freedom in their life and their business. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's dive into the show. Years ago, I had a situation in business where I had a problem and I didn't really know where to turn. I didn't know how to solve it. And so I decided to reach out to my friend Jason Goldberg. He's actually been on the show before, episode 321. If you haven't listened, we'll make sure and link that one up in the show notes because Jason is just an all-around good human. Anyway, I texted him to see if he was available, and about 10 minutes later, we were on a call. I started sharing the problem and, pretty quickly, almost instantly, he said, "Hey, have you read Who, Not How?" And that was actually the first time that book title crossed my path. So Jason went on to share the concept, and he also helped me to solve my problem, helped me to have a pretty big mindset shift as well. If you've read that book, Jason was one of my who's. Now, I bought the book way back then, but it kind of just was, I don't want to say capturing dust, but I have these books that in my Audible library that I buy and then I just haven't started yet. That was one that I bought a couple of years ago and hadn't started it. But now I'm in this season of life where my kids, they're 4 and 7. I'm driving them to and from school each day. I'm driving them to their after school activities. I really have a lot of time in the car, which means that I'm consuming a lot more books and podcasts than I was before. So when the kids are in the car, I'm obviously, I'm in full mom mode. I'm connecting with them. I'm practicing spelling words. I'm playing I Spy with my little eye and really just kind of learning and engaging with them about what's important in their world. But on the drive back, when I'm alone in the car, I am investing in myself with these books and podcasts. So I had just downloaded Who Not How, and that was going to be my next book. So it was already in my library, but I put it you download it to be able to so it's up and ready for you to listen to in the library. But getting into a new book is kind of like a big thing. I like to listen to the whole book all the way through before I start something else. So I said, you know what, I'm going to listen to a podcast first before I jump into things. Then there was sort of this serendipitous moment because the podcast I was listening to had Dr. Ben Hardy as the guest. And turns out that while Who Not How is a framework developed by Dan Sullivan, Dr. Ben was the one who actually authored the book. And so I was like, okay, yes, this is the universe telling me that I really need to read this book right now. So anyway, there's this quote from Dr. Ben that stuck with me so much. I literally have it written on the dry erase board in my office right now. I look at it every day. I talk to my therapist about it. I had a whole call with my therapist about it. The quote said, "Our future selves determine our present reality." I'm going to say that again. Our future selves determine our present reality. So meaning the vision that we hold for ourselves in the future, the goals that we have for ourselves, the life we are looking to create determines the actions that we are taking in the present moment. Instead of our present actions being dictated by our past, we are flipping that around. We're reframing it to have our future selves determine our present actions. My mind was literally blown. So I talked to my husband about it. I shared it in our cousin text thread. I already told you I had an entire call with my therapist about this concept. All of our Growth Factor students, every time I'm getting on a call, I'm talking about it. It was huge for me. So then I, of course, wanted to clarify my future self. Who am I working to become? What exactly am I trying to achieve? Because the more clarity I have on those things, the more I know exactly what I need to be doing in life to create the reality that I'm looking for. So, to go along with the teaching of the book, the more clear I am on the vision of what I'm trying to achieve, the more I'm going to know who I need to hire to help me achieve that. So now I'm going to be talking about this in terms of business for the sake of this podcast. But if you read the book, you'll see that this principle absolutely crosses over into your personal life as well. So I actually am going to share a personal example so you can see that. But, for the sake of this being a business podcast, I want you to be thinking about it in your business or career as well. So, if you've been in our world for a period of time, then you've likely heard me talking about time trackers. And as a company, we typically do these every 6 months or so, really just to see where we're spending our time. So what are the things that can be taken off of our plate? And as you continue to systemize, oftentimes these things can be automated or they're so streamlined that the individual that's currently doing them doesn't need to be the individual that needs to continue to do them. Well, when I did my time tracker, I noticed a few years ago that I was spending a massive amount of time on household items. So if you have children, you know that laundry is never done. Sure, I absolutely had help. I had one of those cleaning companies that comes every other week and does the deep cleaning and the horizontal surfaces. They're like in and out in like 2 hours. But I needed more than that. So it just wasn't, deep cleaning and horizontal surfaces was fine when it was just me and Kyle. But now that I had 2 kids and 2 dogs, I was dealing with sticky handprints all over my cabinets, doggy noses pressed up against the windows, an unimaginable amount of sand coming home in my kids' shoes from the sandbox at school. And of course, like the nonstop laundry. So when I did the time tracker and I saw how much time each week I was spending on household items, I knew something had to change. So I hired someone who could come and help with these things, which gave me back about 12 hours per week. So that's like 2 work days if you're doing a 6-hour shift, right? So by hiring support at home, I was able to dedicate more time to my business, which generated way more revenue than the expense of hiring support at home. It allowed me to grow my business in a bigger way. It allowed me to serve my clients in a bigger way. And I wasn't spending even like the weekend time doing those cleaning tasks. So I ultimately got to spend more time with my family. So it just was an overall win. So how am I going to get all of the things on my plate done was the wrong question. Who can help me take these household items off my plate so that I can complete my work responsibilities without feeling completely overwhelmed was a better question. And I think it's Tony Robbins who said the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask, right? So asking who can help me take these household items off my plate is a better question. All right. So that leads me to this topic that I really wanted to chat about today. And that is, okay, so I get the who is important, but how do you go from chaos to confidence when it comes to developing your team? So many people say, yes, I know I need a team, but I'm having turnover, or I'm having struggles, or I can't find good people. This is a piece of the puzzle, right? So your team is comprised of who support you and allow you to do the work that's required to create the vision that you have for your future self. But building a team is hard. So maybe you can't find massage therapists right now. There's definitely a shortage of MTs out there. Or maybe you're looking for a nurse injector who's already trained, who you don't have to invest the time and energy into training. Or maybe you're just looking for a front desk receptionist and no one is applying. So what I see time and time again is that when the founder starts to expand her team, conflict, frustration, and ultimately turnover happens. Sometimes 2, 3, 4, even 5 times before they get some level of grounding. And I know that that's Probably not what you want to hear right now, but trust me, there is a solution. So team building is a skill, just like leadership. It is something that needs to be developed. And that is exactly what I want to help you learn about today. Now, before we get into these kind of key areas of transformation when it comes to team building, I have a great big favor for you. So over here at Addo Aesthetics, we believe that a rising tide floats all boats. The lessons that I'm sharing with you here on the podcast are things that I've learned firsthand myself or have seen behind the scenes of the hundreds of accounts that we work with. So I'm sharing them so that others don't have to make the same mistakes so that they can grow faster. So it would mean the world to me if you would take a minute and share this episode with a friend. You can send them an email with the link or even just share it on your social media profile. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for getting the word out about our podcast and helping our industry to level up. All right, so let's dig in here. First things first, employees do not like uncertainty. I mean, humans in general don't like uncertainty, but employees are much more risk averse than entrepreneurs. So we are, if you're an entrepreneur, we are our own special breed. We are your people right here at Addo Aesthetics. But understanding that we need to have clear, focused communications in the hiring process, the onboarding process, and the development process is really important. But what does that look like? Well, it begins with the job description. We've got to be crystal clear on what all of the job duties are. How is their success going to be measured? Okay. So I get that all of this may sound basic, but you'd be surprised how many entrepreneurs are so busy and overworked that they are just hiring a Band-Aid. They just need a body to come in and help them. They expect employees will operate with the same drive and direction as they have, but there are a few things wrong with that entire thought process. So first, this is your business, not theirs. No one is going to care as much about your business. And of course, you can have some incredible employees. I know I do. My employees at our company, they are chosen family. We really have become more than just like a group of people that work together. We are a group of people who have deep established relationships on the personal side as well. These women that I'm so blessed to have on my team, I genuinely consider family. But even with that deep level of connection and respect, I have zero delusions or expectations that they care about this company in the same way that I do, to the same level that I do. Of course they love it. Of course they're committed to our core values and our clients. But at the end of the day, I know I will always be more committed and the one who takes the most risk. This is normal. Second, your employees are not mind readers. They're not going to know what your core values are, what your top priorities are, what your expectations are, unless you clearly communicate them. So when you hire and when you move into the onboarding process, you want to make sure that you have a job description. You want to have an employee handbook that outlines all of your company policies. This also can include your non-solicitation, your non-compete if you have one, what company benefits they're receiving, like sick pay or paid holidays, vacation, self-care benefits. Now, inside of Structure Factor, we have all of these resources, templates, trackers, job posting, handbook, etc. But one of the coolest things that we created is this onboarding packet that really outlines in the step-by-step the really important pieces of the process that your new team members absolutely need to know. Now, during the onboarding process, which we define as their first 90 days, I want you to be checking in with them on a weekly basis. Where do they feel like they're winning? Where do they feel like they need additional help? If you don't reach out and ask, it's far less likely that they will reach out and let you know because they don't want to disturb you. Or they're going to just randomly stop you in the hallway when you're not expecting it, or they'll come in and break you out of a flow state, which doesn't mean that you're going to be operating as your highest self, ready and prepared to have a conversation. Okay. So we also expect that all providers are paying for themselves after the first 90 days. Ultimately, we want them to do much more than pay for themselves, right? They need a profit in order to keep the company moving forward. But covering their own cost in the first 90 days is goal number one. And we've got a really cool employee break-even calculator that helps you know exactly what that number is. Now, from there, we move into the development stage. This is where your employee growth plans visually show your team members what their earning potential is at your company. Now, we want your team members to be looking at their role in your company as a career, not as an hourly job that they can simply jump ship from if the slightest thing goes wrong. The growth plans provide tangible markers to measure the performance of your team. This allows them to know if they're doing really well and what exactly you expect in order for them to get a higher rate of pay. When you as the CEO know that your team is performing to your expectations and you have an understanding of the KPIs that you're hitting, it makes it really easy to see the gaps that you have on your team and to have a clear understanding of who you need to bring on next to help you get there. It may be another provider, it may be head of marketing, it may be a virtual assistant, right? So I just talked about a lot of resources, processes, systems, and you may be like, great, now I feel even more overwhelmed because I don't have systems around this. I am a Band-Aid hirer. I don't even have an employee handbook. I don't even know what I'm required to be offering in terms of benefits so that I'm in compliance. Well, I learned a long time ago that you never present a problem without also presenting a solution. And since we are officially in the Black Friday window, I'm going to share with you what our Black Friday promo is coming up. Drum roll, please. And it should come as no big surprise that we are offering Structure Factor at a Black Friday discount of $997. That is 50% off of our regular price. So the trainings inside Structure Factor, they're going to cover everything that you need to know from the pre-hire process, the hiring process, the onboarding process, the development process, and more. Plus, we've got ready to implement resources and templates that are going to take the heavy lifting out of finding your top candidates and getting them onboarded onto your team. So this offer starts on Black Friday. You're going to be getting some emails from us, and we'll go through Monday, December 2nd, okay? Once you purchase, you have lifetime access to Structure Factor, including any updates to lessons and additional resources that we bring in, okay? So you get to watch these videos as many times as you want. You have access to the resources. If you already have purchased Structure Factor, don't purchase it again. We're always going to be updating that information for you, adding new resources in there. Okay. So make sure that you are aware of that. Again, this offer is going to go from Black Friday through Cyber Monday, Monday, December 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely if hiring is in your future, if building a team is in your future, if you want to start asking better questions of who, not how, Structure Factor is the how to help you get to that place. All right. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for listening. I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving if you are here in the States. I hope that you spend time with family. I hope that you take time off to recharge, and we will see you back after the break. As always, if you want to keep the conversation going, I want you to head on over to the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group, the #1 free resource out there for estheticians focused on business building. We've got weekly marketing tips, a monthly goal setting and planning session, monthly esthetician business book club, plus a community of thousands of estheticians committed to business building in the spa industry. I'll see you there. Quick reminder before you leave, if your spa growth still depends on you doing more, it's time for a shift. Watch The System Shift, a free training designed to help spa owners break past that $25,000 to $35,000 month plateau without adding more treatment hours. You'll learn the CEO level systems that help you scale while protecting your time, your values, and your peace. Go to grow.autoaesthetics.com/podcast and watch The Systems Shift. That's grow.autoaesthetics.com/podcast.